Phase one of the storm prep is complete. Got all the little seedlings in here and all these potted plants, which these are all eucalyptus, or at least the majority are. That Shauna didn't want ruined in the storm, of course, so they're in here. We'll close all this up tonight, but give them a little bit of light at least today. But they should be all hopefully safe. Now onto the garden. So in the garden, there's not a whole lot that I can do. I do want to try to support these broccoli somehow, because even now, just a little bit of wind has already made them pretty loose, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. And then the rest is just going to be some of the flowers. Most of it's already supported, but the dahlias over here are getting pretty tall, so I'm going to try to do something extra in these two beds. So I'm going to try to figure out how to do something there. And that's pretty much all I think I can do, or that's worth doing. The calm before the sun. Keep those eyelids up and open. So that's what I've done so far. Have no idea if it's going to help at all, but put extra string around all the taller dahlias here. Just trying to give them a little more support, and hopefully they'll kind of support each other in the middle of all this. And here I just added metal posts and tightened this whatever the stuff's called, Hortonova stuff, a little bit tighter. And then on the mums, same thing, just kind of have a string going around, kind of hopefully grouping them all together so that the wind won't tear them up too much. What I decided to try on my broccoli, which I've done 4 so far, is I got a bunch of dirt, and I'm adding dirt, kind of mounding up dirt around them a lot higher to give them that support. And then I've got these posts stuck next to them, stakes, whatever. And then yes, I have zip tied my broccoli, which I know is not ideal. It probably will cut into the broccoli, who knows, but that's all I got. So that's what I'm going to do for the rest of these, because obviously these are pretty wiggly. So hopefully there'll be more like that, and hopefully that will help, or the wind will just come and bust them off. But at least I tried. And lettuce, I guess you're going to be on your own. I might try to do a little final picking, but not much I can do for you. Well, I've done everything I can in this garden. And ironically, I think these 2 beds are the best they've ever looked, but we'll see what they look like in about 36 hours. But everything's staked up, mounded up. Cauliflower, the 3 I've got there, I just mounded up around them. I didn't stake them. The lettuce, I picked as much as I could, a little earlier than normal. But that way it's a little more aerodynamic, so we'll see what it does there. But we'll see what this looks like, I guess, Saturday afternoon maybe. I almost forgot, I had all these peanut plants I had pulled up that I had to pull the peanuts off of, which I just finally finished. And yes, that is almost a full bucket of peanuts. So I guess we'll let those dry for a little bit, and then I don't know what we're going to do with them, but got some peanuts, I think. In the upper garden, luckily not much here I have to worry about. We were just getting ready to plant seedlings in here, and luckily we held off, because that wouldn't have been good with the amount of rain expected. But the only thing I'm going to do is I got all these corn stalks. I think I'm going to cut these down and bundle them up in case Shauna wants to use them for decoration. I mean, Lowe's sells these for I don't know how much, so must be worth something. So before they get all torn up, I'm going to cut them down and bundle them up and, I don't know, stick them in the barn, I guess. So cut down a bunch. Got a bunch of bunches of corn stalks. I have no idea if we're going to do anything with them, but stick them in the barn and maybe it'll be some Halloween decoration. Anybody need some corn stalk decoration, let us know.
Well, it's Thursday evening and I haven't eaten dinner yet, but I needed to get all of this done. I had to harvest as many flowers as I possibly could before they all got knocked down. And will you take a look at these mums? I know, I'm just weird, but these are a new flower I'm trying, and they're an heirloom mum. And look how pretty they are, and there's so many. These are just a little tip of the iceberg, and there's so many about to bloom, and I feel like they're all just going to be beat down by the rains. But so far, they're really pretty, and I love them. Oh, and the pumpkins.
Just want to make it known I'm out here braving hurricane force winds, heavy downpours, just to feed somebody's horses. And then she asked me to water her plants that are in the barn while she's nice and cozy in her little blanket on the sofa. Okay, it's maybe not hurricane force winds. It's breezy, but it is raining. So just want it known, the things that I have to do out here and risk my life. I bet some people question whether I'm really in hurricane force winds or not. I hope this satisfies you. It's got to be at least like 200 miles an hour. They're so strong. They sound like a blower. I'm happy to report the broccoli did beautifully. No issues whatsoever. And it really wasn't that bad here. It's more like a long day of not even heavy rain, but just a long day of rain with some decent winds here and there. Marigolds seem better. But all the flowers are really good. I mean, even the straw flowers here I didn't do a thing with are pretty much standing. These took a little bit of a beating, but they'll pop back up. Even the bumblebees, a little waterlogged, but they'll dry off. Mums did great. And the dahlias did great. So I really don't see any. Back out here in the garden checking some things out a little more closer. And look at this pepper plant. I already had it in this cage. It's just kind of where it grew up in. But obviously in the hurricane or in the winds, must have been going around and around and around all different directions, because it kind of developed a hole around itself. So just pack that back down and hopefully it'll be okay, but I just thought that's kind of interesting. Comes. And as you know, this whole gardening thing is a total learning experience for Shauna and I. And we continue to learn and make mistakes and learn and make mistakes. So what I'm doing now, Shauna just spent, probably half the weekend weeding these beds that don't even have anything in them, just because weeds are going crazy in them. I weeded most of the ones where stuff was planted, but she finished those off. But anyway, it takes a lot of time, and I know that. So we've kind of read up on people put what's called silage tarps down over exposed beds, like over the winter. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. Silage tarps are basically black plastic, or it can be black on one side, white on the other. Thick plastic, about 6 mil. And it's really no different than this plastic. This is not silage tarp. It's just UV treated and all that, so it doesn't just break down by the sun. So of course I wanted to try to save some money, and I had this black plastic, which is 6 mil, like you put in a crawl space. So I figured it certainly wouldn't hurt to do it for the winter. Obviously it's going to break down with the sun fairly. I would think it'd make it through the winter, but fairly quickly, but it will at least do its purpose. So what I've done is I've taken my leaf mulch and put it down on this bed, and then I'm covering that over with plastic and then just covering the edges up. So I at least hope to get this bed done before the rain starts. Bender. So this is my conduit bender I just got in the mail that I ordered. I actually have bolted it down. It bolts down to any wood surface, but I bolted it down to the trailer here because I just need enough room to be able to bend this 10-foot bar, which is right here. So basically, got a looped area here. You stick the end of the conduit in, about 16 inches. I'll measure that in a second. And then you bend the one end, and then you flip it around, do the same thing with the other end, and just kind of make sure it's equal on both sides, and that's it. So I'm gonna give it a try here, first time. Alright, so what I've done, I've marked 16 inches on my first side here. Put it in the loop. This isn't the most convenient place to do this, but what I do is bend it all the way to this other end, and then flip it over and do the same thing on this other end. Again, measure to 16 inches. Same thing, just trying to keep it level. Like that. And pretty much it gives me my initial hoop. There we go. After, I would say 30 minutes at the most, I've got 10 hoops, almost totally identical. I'm not trying to be perfect, but all bent using this tool here, and this is awesome. Yeah, tempted to try to make it myself, but it wouldn't have been anything like this. So I got this from Johnny Seeds. Very convenient tool to have, so I'll be able to bend more as needed. But now I've got some great hoops for the next frost coming, whenever that is. Hopefully not anytime soon. So this is why I'm so excited about these. So instead of my millions of little posts here to spread row cover over that doesn't stay on well anyway, now I'll have these spread out. And the row covers have clips coming that will clip right on here, little plastic clips. Clip on there and each bottom of each side. And we'll space them out along here. And I kind of see two options. I mean, these can certainly be pushed in the ground, maybe down if you want a little closer, lower hoop. But also, you certainly could go over rebar. Kind of like this, if I can get it on there with one hand, like that, and just set like that, and it definitely would be a 4-foot hoop. So I think you have really either option. And finally, the nice thing about these with the clips I was talking about is like the days we just had where we have frost and freezing at night, but then the daytime is in the 50s, 60s, almost 70s. I could easily just attach 2 clips or even just one and flip that row cover over and let everything be exposed during the day. and then just easily flip it back down and re-clip it down the whole row. So that is really what is going to be convenient once I get all the hoops up. So that'll be a little bit more better prepared than I was this last freeze. So I'll feel a little bit better then. All right, so here's the results. I think for the most part, everything for the cold that we had came across pretty well. Here's all, majority of these are all Snapdragons. And you can see, I mean, there's certainly some that probably are not gonna make it. But for the majority, I think they're okay. We'll see if they bounce back a little more with this weather coming up, but I don't know. We may have lost 10% maybe, if we lost it all. I mean, those may come back. I have no idea what this is, but that came through good. And over here, there's certainly, and I don't know what any of this stuff is over here, but you know, certainly things here that got pretty well damaged. But, I mean, we did what we could. I mean, for that weird cold snap, which is not typical for here, I mean, there's only so much you can do. Everything down here is really good, including some weeds that we got to get out. But again, for the most part, upper garden fared pretty decent. So now I got to get the lower garden uncovered and see. Those are the ranunculus and the anemones. Those are the ones we really care about. We'll see how they did down there. On the lower garden, when I pulled these covers off, my first thought was everything is ruined, because it does look really bad. Except for that bed looks pretty decent. But when you look carefully, you already got new growth coming back up on almost everything. So I think more we just had a little setback instead of everything being ruined. So I think we're good. And this bed did pretty decent overall. And then over here, this one probably did the best, except for down at this end here. But again, even here, you're seeing new growth already coming back. So I think all in all, we're in pretty decent shape. Somebody found a comfortable spot to lay in, didn't you, Oz? Does that feel good in there? Garden update. This is obviously some lettuce that she planted and cilantro. Nothing at the end of there. This is cucumbers, I'm pretty sure. And these are the mums that we overwintered in the hoop house that are looking really good. This is our garlic, which is very close to harvest time. Onions, peppers, tomatoes, more peppers, tomatoes. And then that's pretty much the end of any type of little bit of vegetables. Everything else is flowers. This whole row, I have no idea what it is. A bunch of different things. I always got a ton of strawberries. Pretty much picking strawberries every day, which is awesome. This is all eucalyptus. Big eucalyptus and little eucalyptus. They're growing. This is the bed that I weeded and mulched that was looking terrible. I think all of this is amaranth. Celosia. Okay, some of it's, I swear, some of it said amaranth. I don't know. That's why I'm not the flower person, but these are all flowers or something related to flowers. Then we cross over to what I call the rough side of town. This side of the garden needs a little bit of work. I think these are anemones. Pretty much are about done. That whole bed is done. Most of it's weeds. This whole bed is about done. So those will be redone, I'm sure, soon. These are my willow trees that I'm trying to grow, which the majority of them have grown. I had to dump about 5 of them that didn't grow. But I do think they're gonna grow to where I can plant them. And we got some dahlias coming up from last year. Most of this is strawberries that have taken over. But yeah, this whole side of the garden is in kind of rough shape. But a little bit at a time. And lastly, in the upper garden, bunch of beautiful flowers. All the snapdragons. Sean's been cutting a lot of those. We do have one bed available. These are all snapdragons, and then we just got a wide variety of I don't know what for the most part. Growing up down here. A lot of these flowers, well, some of them we're going to hopefully have ready for some Mother's Day bouquets. But the majority of these are planned for our son's wedding. It's coming up in less than a month, so Shauna's getting a little stressed about that. These are all sunflowers, I think we've shown before. Some are growing a lot higher, and these are that were planted later. More strawberries, more sunflowers. Yeah, I don't know what all this stuff is. These are zinnias, that whole row pretty much. This is called stock. And I can't remember what these are called. Shoot, can't remember. But anyway, all that is what we have going on in the flower garden. So getting some beautiful flowers, and hopefully most of them will keep coming, and we'll have enough for the wedding. But if you're looking for some Mother's Day flowers, keep listening, and we'll let you know. Probably be selling those at the White Barn, but may just sell them from here.